Hi, welcome to Home Studio Workshop. This is all about restringing your pedal steel guitar, if you're lucky enough to have one. If you have one, you'll know what I'm talking about. Every now and again you have to restring it, probably a little more often than you actually do. I've just come to that point where I need to do some recording, and I thought I'd better restring it, and I realised I'd forgotten how to do it. So I looked up, like we do on the interweb, and found virtually nothing on the subject. So I thought I'd pull together this little video, which is not really my video. It's bits and pieces nicked from other places, mainly from the Carter site by the late great John Fabian. At the same time as you change strings on a guitar, you should also do your basic maintenance. In which order you do that is up to you. But the basic rules are that you oil everything that moves, apart from the little ball jointy things which are self-lubricating. There are some links to some interesting bits and pieces on the end, including another method from another of Carter's sites, or the remnants of the defunct Carter sites, and a little piece about John Fabian himself. So enjoy all that and have fun changing your strings.
As you play more and more and practice, you're going to break strings at a certain point, probably the third string. So I'm going to cut it, and we're going to show you how to change a string. So the first thing you'll want to do is unwind whatever's left at this end of the string. Just get the wraps off. Your starter will come with nickel strings. We include a string winder, which you can buy different versions of at your local music store. You'll need some form of little side cutters you can get at Radio Shack or one of those places, Sam's Club. I'm going to use the 11 because that's the one you're going to change most of the time. And the technique we're going to use is we're going to hook it in here. We have what we call a crow's foot type of finger. A lot of the pro guitars use this. The other option is a pin. The pin would go through the ball. These crow's foot seem to be a little easier to change. Take your right hand and grab the string at the tuning peg you want to put it on, and go up 2 tuning pegs. For all the other 9 strings except for 3, you will cut it here, 2 tuning pegs beyond the peg. For string number 3, because it's the smallest, you want to slide this hand up here and then pull the string back to the 3rd fret again, and at that point cut the string. This string has double the amount of string to be wound around the peg, and the reason for that is we want to wind this string away from the hole. Due to plating and other things, the holes usually have burrs on them. It will cut the string as the string stretches and relaxes against the hole as you operate the pedals. So take the string, line up the hole so it's just slightly pointed down from the back or left-hand side to the right-hand side. Stick the end of the string through. It'll stick out. You can see here there's about 1/4 of an inch sticking out the other side. At that point, just take your finger and put a small bend in it like that, holding up on the string at this point to keep the ball in at this end and a little bit of tension on it. Take your first pass to the center of the key head on the outside of the piece sticking up, and then immediately cross over underneath, winding as you go. That will pinch the string to keep it from pulling through, and just allow the windings to continue to move away from the hole. Keep some tension on it with your left hand by pulling up. And then as the string pulls tighter, we end up going across the roller in the center of it. Just kind of make sure it's in there. You can stretch it a little bit. It's up to an E. Notice we were sharp, we brought it back down flat and then back up to pitch to make sure that the tuning machine doesn't slip at all. It's under a constant pressure that way. And your third string, which is an 11 on this guitar, will stretch a little bit initially. As opposed to pulling them to stretch it with the thinner strings, which I don't recommend either on the first string or the third string, you can use the pedals. The truth is, the third string will come up to pitch or it won't. These strings run in batches, and sometimes the batches are not particularly good and you'll break the strings rapidly. If that's happening a lot and it's not up here at the tuning machine caused by not enough windings, but it's happening down here at the changer end, which is usually where these break, you should probably change brands of strings. Just buy a couple of other 11s and try them out for a while because they run in batches, and then you can go back to your normal string in a couple of months usually and they'll be fine. Okay, this string's a little sharp. That's because the last string had some time on it, so it stretched out a little over time, and the tensile characteristics of it were a little bit different than a new string is. So what we'll have to do is adjust the string. Stretching. See? One important thing when you're tuning any of the pedals or knee levers, when you activate them and tune them, you should release them. As Joe said, you should make sure the open is still in tune. As you can see, this string is still stretching a little bit. But additionally to that, when you turn the tuning nut under pressure, these are acetal nylon nuts, Delrin, that very hard nylon that you can machine, but it deforms differently than it does when it's pulled using a pedal. So you should, when you feel it's in tune here, you should release it and then activate the pedal again to check it. And you'll probably find a lot of times it just requires one more little touch, and then release them and check them one more time. So that's now in tune, and that's fine. On the wound strings, especially when you change them, you want to get them pre-stretched because they will stretch for quite a long time if you don't. So you can just kind of pull up a little bit, you know, stretch them out, and once you do that, they'll pretty well lock down the first couple of times you tune them. And that's basically how to change a string.